Check out this clip. This is the inspiration for today's video.
But McDonald's spends millions of dollars a year trying to figure out where they want to put the next McDonald's. We all know McDonald's is also in the real estate business. So they're trying to figure out where is the best place to put it. All Burger King does, right, conceptually, is put it in proximity to McDonald's. And the reason why I say that that's a great way to approach investing is because it's okay to be a copycat if you copy the right cat. They have analysts and they spend millions and millions of dollars a year trying to figure out like what should be going in these funds. You go to Vanguard.com, look up VOO, all you got to do is click the buy button, right? And if you just did just that on the first trading day of the year, you're up 21%.
Okay, so guys, please understand what I'm trying to convey in this video is that we have to use our best judgment. I don't want you to just follow anyone blindly, including me, of course, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to do hours of research. There are simple ways to get started investing. And I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to be intimidated. I want you to know that investing does not have to be hard. There are top managed funds and analysts that know how to put together easy growth investments for you. So in the clip, he mentioned Vanguard, and we're going to be using that as our example today. We can use their website, their resources, their exchange traded funds, ETFs that they have built and have steady growth and steady returns that we can easily be taking advantage of. So we are going to leverage the research and the resources and just take practical steps in order to gain these type of returns. The strategies are practical and accessible and simple. So we're going to look at it like that, and I'm going to show you an account, and we're going to go through a few things. Okay, so when it comes to Vanguard, I don't use them as a brokerage company. I happen to use Fidelity and Webull and Public and Moomoo. Those are a few names that if you've been here before, I'm sure you've heard me mention. So when we're looking at Vanguard, we're not looking at as what it offers as a brokerage company. I'm sharing what it offers as far as their investments. So here it says the bottom line, Vanguard is the king of low-cost investing, making it ideal for buy and hold investors and retirement savers. That's the part that I want to focus on. Now, as far as using the brokerage company itself, that part of it personally is not a concern to me about their fees and their flexibility in allowing you to have to invest into fractional shares and things like that. So here's another article talking about Vanguard. So again, when we look at the pros here, Vanguard is one of the best index mutual funds and exchange traded funds, ETF providers. So that's what I love about Vanguard. As far as the other things, like I said, I don't plan on opening a brokerage account at Vanguard, but what's nice about it is I can invest into their funds on other platforms. So we can go down to their cons, no fractional shares except for Vanguard ETFs. That's not an obstacle for me because I'm not going to be investing on their platform. So I don't have any concerns about I can't buy fractional shares of Apple or Amazon or Tesla. No crypto trading, no physical branches. All of these things, not a concern. Our focus here today is an investment choice that is easy and simple and you can just kind of follow along with. As the clip showed us in the beginning of the video, just be a copycat, those easy investments that you can follow along with and have steady growth. Vanguard is one of them. Their ETFs, for example, VTI and VOO, I have them in my portfolio, and I'm going to show you one of the portfolios that I've been working on, as well as run down a few other things. But first, let's take a look at VOO. So I have this on year to date. Now, in the clip, he said if all you did was invest into VOO at the beginning of the year, you'd be up 21%. But we're going to set the bar a little higher in my examples because when I checked year to date, as of right now, VOO is up 26.89%. So we're going to use 27% as our bar in what we're going to be discussing today. And Vanguard is a great platform, but there is something else I wanted to show you. So another fund that tracks the S&P 500 that I wanted to mention is SPLG. So you see, tracks the same fund, but the only difference is that it's managed by State Street Global Advisors. But I just like to throw this one in there because some people are drawn to their share price being $70.45 versus VOO at $550.56. Also, SPLG's expense ratio is 0.02, while Vanguard's is 0.03. So slightly lower expense ratio and share price. I had not discovered it before I started investing into VOO, but it is another option for you that I like to share. Both pay a quarterly dividend. All right, so now let's take a look at a portfolio that I've been building. And I put it on year to date, and I am up 27.29% on this particular portfolio, and it only has 5 investments in it. So I'm right on track with the performance of the S&P 500 here. And what's in this portfolio? I have VOO, VCI, Apple, Tesla, Home Depot. That's it. So I'm doing 40% into the ETFs, VOO and VTI, 10% into Apple, and then 5% into Tesla and Home Depot. And you see the percentages here that I'm up on each of these positions, up over 45% on the ETFs, up 51.69% on Apple, 75% up on Tesla, and nearly 38% up on the Home Depot, for an average of 47.53% increase on this entire portfolio. And I've been building this over a year. So just throwing that in there too, in case you're wondering why my gains are more significant than the 27%. So this is SPLG in the ETF Research Center. This is a website that you can use to take a look at exchange traded funds, but we'll just leave it here. I can change it to VOO actually. Let's just see. But it's going to be the same detail basically because they both track the S&P 500. So we're going to take a look. I'm going to share some other investments that I have, but we just saw the performance of Apple, Tesla, and Home Depot. Home Depot is not in the top 10 of the S&P 500, but these are the top 10 holdings when you invest into a fund like this. And many of these names, if not all, are familiar to you. I'm going to share a few more investments in my portfolio that are up the 27% that I decided to use for this video. But you can invest into the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF and get exposure to the 500 top companies in the US, most heavily weighted into the ones that you see here: Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, and Broadcom. Okay, so we took a look at a portfolio that I built, just 5 positions, up 47%. Now, I looked through my portfolio to find other investments that I pair with the ETFs that are also up over 27%. And I'm going to share 8 of them. My Apple position is up 53.9%. VOO in my portfolio, that was my daughter's that we took a look at, is up 28.7%. My Tesla is up 55.4%. VCI is up 39%. Amazon up 57%. Google up 31.6%. Nvidia up 38.4%. And Main Street Capital up 33.7%. So when it comes to investing, I just try to keep it simple. I'm not always out here trying to find the next hot thing and put a bunch of money into it, not knowing their track record. everything that I mentioned here, maybe besides Main Street Capital, you're familiar with these things. Main Street Capital is a business development company, and I added that into my portfolio because a while back when Keenan Grace had his passive income challenge, when he kicked that off, he researched thoroughly a few investments and shared those with us at that time as potentials for us to get started with in the challenge. And I chose 3. Main Street Capital was one of them. It pays a monthly dividend and it pays an extra dividend on the quarter. But on top of that, as I just shared, my stock price has increased by 33%. So I'm getting both there. I'm getting a dividend payment and steady growth. So the point of this video was just get started. It doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to do anything spectacular in order to be building and growing in your portfolio. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments and let me know if you have any questions or want me to share any more detail on what we touched on today. What are you investing into in your portfolio? And are you using the performance of, for example, the current performance of the S&P 500 being at 26.84%? Are you making sure that a majority, if not all of your investments are growing at that rate? When you push out your investments even further, for example, over the last 5 years, are your investments growing at a similar rate to what we're seeing here? Up 90.72% over the last 5 years. Now, it might not seem much when we look at NVIDIA, which over the last 5 years is up 2,390%. But did we know 5 years ago to invest all of our money into NVIDIA? No, I know I didn't. But that's okay because I've been investing, I've been growing my money and building up my portfolios. And if we sit around and do nothing, our money is not going to grow at all. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments, and I will be back soon. Okay, bye.